Now, a lot of these, hold on a sec. A lot of these cultural crimes I've been complaining about can be blamed on the baby boomers. Something else I'm a little tired of hearing about. The baby boomers. Whiny, narcissistic, self-indulgent people with a simple philosophy. Give me it, it's mine! Give me that, it's mine! These people were given everything. Everything was handed to them. And they took it all. Sex, drugs, and rock and roll. And they stayed loaded for 20 years and had a free ride. But now they're staring down the barrel of middle-age burnout, and they don't like it. They don't like it, so they turn self-righteous, and they want to make things hard on younger people. They tell them abstain from sex, say no to drugs. As for the rock and roll, they sold that for television commercials a long time ago, so they could buy pasta machines and Stairmasters and soybean futures. Soybean futures. You know something? They're cold, bloodless people. It's in their slogans. It's in their rhetoric. No pain, no gain. Just do it. Life is short. Play hard. Shit happens. Deal with it. Get a life. These people went from do your own thing to just say no. They went from love is all you need to whoever winds up with the most toys wins. And they went from cocaine to Rogaine. And you know something? They're still counting grams, only now it's fat grams. And the worst of it is the rest of us have to watch these commercials on TV for Levi's loose-fitting jeans and fat-ass Docker pants. Because these degenerate, yuppie, boomer cocksuckers couldn't keep their hands off the croissants and the Haagen-Dazs. And their big fat asses have spread all over, and they have to wear fat-ass Docker pants. Fuck these boomers. Fuck these yuppies. And fuck everybody, now that I think of it. Well, sometimes in comedy you have to generalize.
Where is the lie in that? Where's the lie? A lot of people want to blame what's going on in the world. A lot of stuff. Capitalism, socialism, a lot of stuff. But there's a huge element, not element, there is an elephant in the room. And that is boomers. Now, what about boomers? Pretty much exactly what George Carlin said. And I can speak from personal experience because those were my mentors. Those were my predecessors. And not just predecessors for millennials, but for Gen X too. And I can tell you, are not all of them, but there were a lot of them who were just putrid as parents. And why do I blame this, or maybe not blame the boomers? I can actually. The title of this is "Are Boomers to Blame the Downfall of Society?" My answer is yes. You want to know why? They were never there for anyone or anything. They would always tug on your heartstrings. Don't talk back to your elders like that. Is that the way you speak to your parents? All the freaking while, they had no idea how to parent. A lot of boomers, I can't speak, I'm just speaking from my experience. But my experience is actually shared by a lot of people. it he didn't George Carlin didn't even just cover like the "give me that it's mine" sort of aspect of the boomers, but it's but being raised by boomers was an awful nightmare. The negligence, the Peter Pan syndrome. I'm not the problem, you're the problem. I'm doing this, that, and the third, and you're just like you've heard it all. If you know exactly what I'm talking about, the the freaking negligence, the freaking the negligence. The you got, well, what am I supposed to do? Get the hell. Yeah, there. I not only that. I shouldn't say that, but how should I say this? One of their biggest parenting skills, their go-to thing was just like they were working all day, and their version of raising kids was essentially "fuck off, kid. Here, here's $20. Get the hell out of here. Here's $100. Get the hell out of here." That's actually that was how millennials and Gen X actually were raised. They were raised by get the fuck out. I'm tired. I don't have time for you. And now this neglect and this huge thing of wealth distribution, people are blaming a lot on the on capitalists and all this other stuff. But in all honesty, it is boomers hoarding all the wealth and the jobs. Because just recently, and I can attest to this, I had a there was a boomer singer willing to to conduct, and I was like saying, well, I'm in my prime. I'm a young buck, or at least a prime buck. Why don't I have why don't I take the reins and do it? And then he said, how about if I substitute? And he says, well, I've been doing this for 60 years. Yeah, no shit. You're 70, dude. You're in your 70s, and you're trying to. That's the thing about a lot of the boomers, is that why are the jobs sucking? Why are because the boomers are really gatekeeping. They gate kept everything. They gate kept everything. That's what they're not talking about. They neglected their kids. They would always come home drunk or dry drunk or pissed off. You stayed extra hours in daycare as a kid. You stayed extra hours in daycare as a kid because you did not want to get screamed by your dad or by your mom or whatever. Because you just knew that you were just like that. Once you start going into your home, into your house, it's a freaking landmine. You don't know what's going to set off. So you shut up, did your thing, did your homework, and went to bed. I don't know. I might be misjudging, but I'm saying that this is pretty much how it was. A lot of people want to say, and it's like, why do we have so many people, 60s, 70s, 80s, boomer and silent generations, taking over and not willing to give up their power because in their brains they still think they're 25. And when they were 25, they thought they were 13. And when they were, yeah, they have this, and I swear to God, people are blaming the wrong folks, in my opinion. They want, like I said, they want to blame capitalism. They want to blame the current administration. But dude, this long predates anything that's in the current administration. This is a cultural collapse thing. We'll also cover another video that has with a channel that has kind of some grievances here. I don't know if I played this a while back. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. But this is what happened here. It's true.
Not on display because it's old, but because they broke it, and now they pretend it never worked any other way.
Right. The dream where you win, change the rules, then pretend it was always fair.
I'm sorry, sir. Did you have something to share?
Oh, nothing. Just breathing in the equity.
And now for our latest addition to the exhibit, the boomer in its natural habitat. No resume, no experience, just historical entitlement and ambient opportunity.
If I had your resources, I could get a job today.
And here,
it's funny that they say that, but do you know what? That's just like how the world they inherited. They inherited a world where the economy was amazing. Then they freaking took it in all for themselves and bogarted the future generation. Generations, plural, not singular.
we see the rare American pension plan, extinct since 2005.
I just walked into the factory.
And back in the
Playing
day,
on iPhone? Now you can play Unlocked
back in
on
the
PC
day,
with Google Play Games. Unlocked.
back in the day, it was like that. They going around, and it wasn't. Yeah, that's the thing. There were a lot of jobs after the Great Depression, after the war. There were a lot of after World War II, there was a big boom in the economy, and so after in the 60s and 70s, there was just like. And even after Nixon got us back, got us off, not got us back, got us off the gold standard. F him for doing that. There was a lot of work, there were a lot of jobs, and everything was all fair play. You just had to go out and get it. But now, ever since like the 90s, the 70s, they were always at work. They were always at work. Not because they had to, but because they didn't care. They didn't care about their kids. They cared about how they looked on the surface. I'm married with children and everything's great. Meanwhile, they didn't do F all to raise their kids. They just got the money and then just tuned out and just watched their television or drank their beer. They would sometimes stay overtime, do whatever the heck they wanted to do, and then come home not until maybe 8, 9 o'clock at night. When they clock out their 9 to 5, they stayed in after hours just to avoid the house. They didn't want to go home because they knew it was going to be a bark fest. I want to say something else, but yeah.
You know, asshole, I walked into a factory recently, and no one was there. Just a raccoon and a homeless guy who said they moved to Malaysia in 97.
Just work hard. Avoid debt. Don't forget to go to college. Don't do drugs.
Don't do drugs? Don't do drugs? Didn't you guys start the hippie movement?
Just pull yourself up by just pull.
Meanwhile, I work 2 jobs and live in a
Yep,
shoe.
sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Do your own thing, and then say no to drugs in the 90s. We're in a drug crisis. Meanwhile, this is the same generation that said, load up, dude. Life's a party. Oh my God. They left their families to have fun. They had kids when they were like in their teens and 20s. And then fucked off and left their kids to the state because, well, I didn't want this kid. What are you talking about? I didn't want him. Yeah, I mean, like, it was this, that, the third, but that was then. This is now. I changed my mind. Yeah, I liked the idea of having a family, but then I didn't feel like it afterwards. That is the fucking brain of a lot of boomers. Did things because that's what culture told them to do, or they said, oh yeah, what I thought was an idea, but I changed my mind. Damage is done, asshole. The damage is done. You need to raise your fucking child. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Okay, wait, what? With what help? What do you mean pull yourself up by your bootstraps? I don't even know what bootstraps are. When I was born, I didn't know what a fucking boot was. Oh, come on. When I was your age, I was out doing this and out doing that. There were no freaking problems. Oh my God, the negligence. All the back in my day stories just to say, just to essentially say, get the fuck off, kid. That's, and they fucking wonder why the country has gone to shit.
Box under the crushing weight of student debt you people guilt trip me into taking out.
If you can't buy a house, maybe you weren't meant to.
Whoa, hey, easy there, Terminator. I'm just here for the trauma tour.
Thank you for visiting the American Dream exhibit. Please exit through the gift shop.
You're lucky I can't take your social security, you vinyl-faced piece of shit. I have my eye on you.
Psst. Hey, kid. Listen, man, you gotta get the fuck out of here. They got commie spies everywhere. Shh.
Act 1. The myth they sold us. A couple hundred years ago, land was cheap, beer cured dysentery, and you could catch a career in a fishing net. But more interestingly, around the time people still wore powdered wigs without irony, the British Royal Navy had a little trick for staying afloat. If you joined up young and strong, the crown would pay you in rum, land, and promises, just enough to make you think you were building a future. Of course, by the time your teeth fell out from scurvy and your spine resembled a question mark, that land grant was a damp swamp in Nova Scotia, and the pension was a pat on the head and a cannon salute. So, where's the rum? You were the rum. They sold you the dream, then they sank it. Now enter the American dream, that magical Hallmark-sponsored fantasyland where you graduate on a Thursday, land a steel mill job Friday, buy a house Saturday, and have 2 or 3 kids with a mortgage smaller than your car payment by Monday morning.
Now, believe it or not, that was once upon a time a thing when freaking mortgage was like, I don't know, $80. It was that low.
And all you had to do was be born before 1964. You know, back when you could afford a family on a single income and still have change left over for cigarettes, cocaine, and a pool. Boomers didn't just have it good. They had it absurd by taking the great work the generations before them had laid out, raised a middle finger, and blamed the government for ruining everything when in the 1950s, the wealthiest bracket of people were paying the highest tax rates at the time. Just pull yourself up by your bootstraps.
Vibe coders, ready to build more? Meet Base 44.
Doesn't this sound like the modern day left? They want to. The modern day left went full circle because the left used to be very revolutionary and very counterculture, because there were social injustices. I'm not saying that, but boy howdy, did they want to blame capitalism and all that stuff. Dude, the biggest capitalists are boomers. They capitalized and sold not just the country, but their own families for a few extra bucks. They sold their children out for fucking cocaine, okay? Do you not there was, I think there was even a joke in King of the Hill. I might be wrong, but even like with Buck Strickland say, "Oh, hey, take my coworker. You can, or take this person." That's how they were. Everything and everyone was an item to be traded and they got themselves into a lot of shit and then sold either their state, their families, their government out to get themselves out of the shit that they created. It kind of sounds like the Violent Crime family, don't you think? Yeah, I said it. Violent Crime family sold the country out just so that way that his family won't fucking get in trouble. What generation is he? Boomer. Or silent.
Sir, I'm
I would say
barefoot.
boomer.
They went full circle. Socialist in their youth, capitalist in middle age, and full-on authoritarian in a generation that once preached peace, love, and don't trust the government, man, dropped the idealism faster than their asset tabs and traded it for real estate portfolios, polyester pants, and...
Oh my god, did I not just say that? I didn't even know that he was going to say that shit. I did not know he was going to say that. Oh, fuck you, millennials. I'm 68 years old and I can still get work even though I can still get work. I have a huge pep in my step even though I'm gaining arthritis in my fucking left nut. But pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Fucking $5,000 for rent? Fuck you. That's not my fault. You're just making shit up. I didn't do anything. Exactly, Grandpa.
Ronald Reagan's bedtime stories. The same people who were raised by government programs, the GI Bill, public housing, and union jobs, grew up to believe that sharing is communism and poverty is a personal choice. As George Carlin described them,
"Give me it, it's mine! Give me that, it's mine!"
This was the guiding principle of every HOA with a lawn sign and a lawsuit. By the time they hit their 30s, boomers had more jobs than a modern LinkedIn influencer with a podcast, a startup, a side hustle, and an NFT grift, all while claiming they just stuck with one company and worked hard. They normalized job hopping so thoroughly that corporations just gave up trying to train anymore, outwin pensions and career development.
What are you talking about? Yeah, just if you don't like your job, just get another one. Just get another one. Hey, millennials, Xers, Zoomers, anyone who watches this channel, which you're not, but let's say if you are, how many times did you hear that throughout your life? Oh, you lost your job. Just get another one. Oh, you did that shit. Oh, that sucks. Just you'll be fine. Don't worry. You'll get another job. With like 50,000 mass fucking layoffs.
In came, you're lucky to be exploited. Experience required for entry level.
And this is the thing. Let me tell you this. I want to say this to these fucking retards, these metro commies, these communists. Oh, capitalism exploits its workers. capitalism does this. No. Whatever you call a capitalist, it's not capitalists. It's boomers. Boomers exploited everybody and everything. They exploited their wives. They exploited their husbands. They exploited their kids. They sold you off to the fucking state. And then said, well, back in my day, I didn't bitch about shit. Yeah. Because your fucking folks actually valued you more often than not. I'm not saying I'm not saying that boomers had the most perfect parents. Their parents came out from the wars and shit. Dads were all traumatized. The mom was the caretaker. And what were you doing? Telling your dad to shut up from PTSD triggers. Up there's dad going through his freaking Vietnam, not Vietnam. Nope, not even close. That was the 60s. Up there, there's dad having his World War II with withdrawals again. Hey dad, are the Nazis here? Are the Nazis here again? Nazis! And that was a legitimate thing. No, you had these like little shits even fucking with their parents and their PTSD and shit. Or sometimes, I mean, like dude, I mean, goddamn.
Unpaid internships with coffee fetching certifications. And when it all started collapsing, they didn't take responsibility. They just called it a work ethic problem because nothing screams personal accountability like torching the economy and blinking. Dirt cheap homes, stable.
Oh my god, I say something and then this freaking video just backs. Look at this. Everybody, look at this shit. Look at this shit. Right here. Do you see this? So boomers were making $24K a year and their mortgage was $83K. So like about a third of their income, their income, they could pay that off in 3 years. 75. Well, you're said I mean, like, well, wages are way up. That's why housing, like, $75K to pay off for basically $500,000. Excuse me? Excuse me. So this is the millennial average income and the millennial average house payment. Excuse me. And you freaking wonder why we're terminal renters or terminal homeless. Who gives a shit? The stocks and shit are better. Who gives a shit about you, millennials, Xers? My stocks and my 401k isn't gonna fucking rise. I need the stocks to shoot way the fuck up. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to sell one of my 5 houses.
Single income jobs, pensions you could actually retire on, college tuition cheaper than a modern microwave, and after reaping all of it, they'd turn around, looked us in the eye, and said,
"It's Trump. Trump did this. P47 did this, everybody. He destroyed the economy, not me. You millennials and Xers are lazy. Get a job. You can't get a job. What are you talking about? There are millions of jobs out there. Don't you see the market? You see, I can get you a job. You see this Indeed on here? Oh, you see? You've got you see? Oh, general manager job for this so and so company. You just need 16 years of you just need 30 years of experience and a master's degree. You've got that, right? At the age of 35, the age of 32. You got 30 years of experience at 32. Thanks. Give me my fucking pensions, but make sure that the only ones who are eligible to get back to the workforce is someone in my fucking age range. Thanks, Grandpa. That's your
You're just lazy. All while charging $1,800 a month to rent a drywall shed somewhere in a dilapidated part of a Rust Belt city. That's like Gordon Ramsay handing you a dirty fork, no ingredients, and a stove from 1937, then screaming that your imaginary souffle is fucking raw. In 1980, the average home in the United States cost about $70,000.
Oh my God! You're making $50,000. You should buy yourself a house. I mean, the housing market. I got my first house at $30,000. My first apartment was $10,000. You can pay that off. You can pay that a $10,000 apartment if you're making $50,000 a year easily. What are you crying about? They like to mix the today's wages and mix it with like the old prices. Fucking smooth brains, man. These boomers are smooth brains.
In 2025, try $500,000. That's a six-fold increase. Meanwhile, median income only grew by a little over 4 times. So unless you're moonlighting as a YouTube crypto guru and a hedge fund at the same time, you're not buying a house, let alone barely buying groceries. Back in my day, I bought my first house at 25 with a job at the hardware store.
All the fucking jokes I'm making, I didn't even watch this, and every single joke I'm mocking and doing, he does the exact thing. Mine's thinking
I
like,
swear, you millennials and your entitlement. Gen Z. I mean, whatever, it's the same thing. Just stop buying avocado toast and you'll be fine. Oh, but thank God. I thought I was poor because of inflation or stagnant wages and a rental market run by sociopaths. But no, turns out it was the toast. Yes. Now go flip that toast into a duplex. Oh, yes. Bruce Cannon Gibney, that delightful bundle of and once wrote a book with the cheery little title, A Generation of Sociopaths. And he wasn't talking about serial killers or Wall Street bankers. No, he meant the boomers. According to Gibney, this lot, who inherited a prosperous post-war utopia, probably began lighting it on fire to keep their golf carts warm. They slashed investments in boring things like bridges, roads, and water systems. You know, the infrastructure that stops society from collapsing into a sinkhole every time it rains. And guess what? It worked brilliantly. As of now, the American Society of Civil Engineers says 46,000 bridges in the US are structurally deficient, and some of them are in such a bad state of decay, they are classified as functionally obsolete, which is...
Do you honestly think that if boomers were active with their kids, instead of neglecting and being in their own fucking worlds, that any of this would exist? Maybe in some instances, yes, but not to this degree. We're in a cultural decay because of a bunch of fucking hoarders, a bunch of people who are in their 60s who still think they're 18, 17, 16, 15, who tell their glorious years were their high school years and childhoods. Two entirely different time frames. If they cannot catch up with the fucking times, which they never could, they were always loaded on something. What makes you think that it's our fault for basically saying, teach us, Dad, teach us, Mom, teach us, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Mr. and Mrs. Johnson, whatever it is, so that way this doesn't fucking happen. Go out there and figure it out for yourself. That's not my job. Don't you have somewhere to be? You neglect the kid, you neglect the country.
It's a polite way of saying this bridge probably should have retired back when the Beatles were still together.
We're going to be doctor about that.
But instead, I don't know, fixing any of it, Congress, largely staffed by the same boomers who built this mess, decided to do what they do best: kick the can down the collapsing road. All while entire cities like Flint, Michigan were drinking lead-poisoned Kool-Aid, and the noble boomers in D.C. were arguing for tax cuts for yacht owners. So yes, congratulations, you're living in the rusted ruins of a country that once dreamed big, and now can't even pour a glass of water without checking if it glows in the dark. They took the maintenance budget, slashed it to balance the books, and used the savings to buy lawn flamingos and a third Jeep. This short-sightedness obviously contributed to the house affordability crisis we're experiencing today. So, I just gotta say, this cozy 400 square foot studio is a steal at $2,500 a month. So
Presenting Odd Pieces.
That looks so cool. What is it?
Sorry, well...
Does it come with a bathroom? I mean, yes, it's shared. Down the hall. Honestly, the American dream hasn't just shifted. It's been...
That's not far off from the truth.
taxidermied and mounted on the wall of a boomer's third vacation home. Once a symbol of prosperity and stability, now is just a rotting myth, wielded like a cudgel against younger generations.
But it's the capitalists, right? It's evil capitalists. Millennials, Zoomers, Alpha, it's your elders. You know how they said, don't talk back to your elders? Yeah, I will talk back to my elders. And second of all, I wouldn't talk back to my elders if they treated me like they were my elders instead of being my peers. So I wouldn't talk back to my elders if they were not trying to be, if they were actually trying to be my elders, but they weren't.
Usually by someone who bought a 4-bedroom house for the price of a toaster oven, then accidentally became a landlord. It's gaslighting with a pension plan. This shit is so bad they can make a game out of it. Tired of trying to win in real life? Don't worry, we gamified the struggle. Gen Z, the video game. Now with realism mode. Remember fun? Neither do we. Now step into the simulator where rents
Oh, you guys are... Oh, this is a Zoomer, huh? This is a Zoomer doing this, making this video. Jeez, dude. I mean... You... Gen Z, and not all Gen Z. Gen Z is a mixed bag, in my opinion. But boy, howdy, do they know exactly what Gen X and Gen Y, which are millennials, boy freaking howdy, do they know exactly what the fuck we went through. And we lived through this.
Healthcare is optional, and hope is a microtransaction. Rated F for financially doomed. Act 2, the damage they did. You ever wondered what it'd look like if an entire generation played The Sims, but with real national infrastructure? Because that's basically what the boomers did, except instead of trapping a sim in the pool and deleting the ladder, they trapped us in the economy and deleted the housing market. But since we're already aware of most of this, let's talk about the cliches. Not just the movie villain monologuing before he dies, or the reboot that thinks swapping demographics count as a plot twist. No, I'm talking about the real-world cliche. The boomer who inherited society, dismantled it for parts, and now spends their twilight years yelling at minimum wage workers about the price of eggs. Because the thing about cliches is, they exist for a reason. Bruce Cannon Gibney, again, didn't write A Generation of Sociopaths because he was bored. He wrote it because he read the DSM-5 and thought, hey, that sounds a lot like my uncle. So let's go over a few things again. The boomers exhibit the following traits. Disregard for others, irresponsibility, no long-term planning, feels nothing after gutting pensions, invests in crypto but blames the kids when it crashes. Instead of just calling them bad policies, how about generational temper tantrums dressed up in free market drag? But remember when I talked about their disregard?
Oh my God. These people are in office. That's the worst part. These people are in office. You want true cosmic solace, or even like national solace? I'm sorry, no more boomers. No more fuckers in their 60s, 70s, and 80s. Get them the fuck out of there. Only people in their 30s, 40s, and 50s, maybe early 60s. You're beyond 60, you gotta do some freaking cognitive exam to make sure you're not fucking senile. Because, but that's going to be hard to do because with TikTok and all that stuff, it's easy to get brain rot. You can, even in your 20s and 30s. God damn, there's some people who I talk to. You ask them how to do a basic, like 3rd grade, 4th grade math problem, and they don't know the answer. They even say, who's the first president? There's some even people who say, oh, who's the first president of the United States? Which everybody freaking knew, especially as a kid, as a millennial. That was like the first person you knew, George Washington. They say, Obama. This, yeah, with all due respect, that is that's this inclusivity mixed with negligence. Bullshit that the boomers have always did, which is basically get the fuck out of here. That's not my problem. And then as soon as you call them out on their shit, then they get fucking triggered and throw a fucking tantrum as if they're like 6 years old or like 3. They cried and yell at you for not getting the toy they wanted.
Generation's work, enter Ronald Reagan, our patron saint of pretending. The man who looked into a camera and told the nation, government is the problem, and then proceeded to prove it. He slashed the top tax rate from 70% to 50%, handed Wall Street the keys to the vault, and greenlit corporate stock buybacks previously considered market manipulation, as if CEOs were just misunderstood underdogs in a feel-good sports movie.
That was a bad thing, and he also learned about this recently. He also did, this is a little side thing here. He also introduced the no-fault divorce stuff, and you freaking wonder why things are going to down the toilet. I want to say something worse, but yeah.
Yeah, turns out the trickle wasn't water, and it wasn't going down.
Playing on iPhone? Now you can play Unlocked on PC with Google
Reagan
Play
is
Games.
100%
Unlock
off the
bigger
hook.
screen.
Thanks, Ronnie. Meanwhile, Reagan's FCC chairman declared that TV was just a toaster with pictures, which is great news, because now we had a toaster that could broadcast 24 hours of rage bait and pharmaceutical ads. And with the Fairness Doctrine repealed, facts became optional. The media became less public service, more fast food for the brain damaged. But back to Gibney. He names names, so let's do the same.
Yeah, and the boomers conformed. They didn't say fuck. They didn't fight against that though.
Reagan deregulated everything except his own legend. Bill Clinton, saxophone in one hand, Wall Street deregulation in the other. George W. Bush, a man so committed to disaster capitalism, he thought 2 countries would count as a stimulus package. If I had anything to say about their governing, it's like they hosted a looting party and left the tab in our name. Welcome to Boomerland, a theme park for the policy choices of the most overindulged generation in history. The crumbling infrastructure log flume. Freedom Gulch. No healthcare, no roads, just guns. The student loan tilt-a-whirl. The climate denial ice rink. Boomerland, where dreams really stand, the future's cancelled. Oops. Act 3. The world we inherited. You know, for the longest time, I thought I was just screwing it all up. Like, maybe I missed the secret seminar where they handed out houses, confidence, and a functioning will to live, right between taxes and how to cook rice without hating yourself.
Ah, yeah. The dream that even millennials were thrown at.
They told us if we just played the game, go to school, get a job, hustle like your entire existence depends on it, then one day we'd win something other than burnout and type. Here we grind, still chase success like it's tied to a helium balloon shaped like Elon Musk's and just is out of reach. What we got was a cosplay economy, dressed up in social milestones established by the generation who lived at the zenith of modern civilization, empowered by fiat currency anxiety meds for the world they created. Boomer inheritance be like a folded American flag, a broken VHS of Top Gun, and the keys to
$1.78 trillion
in student loans. Oh, and maybe a live, laugh, love sign if you're lucky. The boomers inherited a rich, dynamic country and mortgaged it like a cokehead with a stolen credit card. The national debt? $36 trillion. That number is so big, you'd think it was invented by a toddler trying to lie about his high score in his favorite video game. Trust in government? Yeah, that's hovering somewhere between timeshare salesman and gas station sushi. But hey, don't worry, the system works. Just like a microwave that doesn't heat your food, but always gives you a nice hot plate. Loud, expensive, and only useful for storing regrets. Boomerland may be closed, but the damage? Yeah, that's on us to clean up. With student loans, burnout, and a 2-year leasing at it. Glitchy, over-leveraged, and updated monthly with a paywall. But if you haven't already, please subscribe. And as always,
I will say this: I don't agree with everything that he says, but this but he did actually hit on a lot of solid points. He did. He really that is exactly what happened, to be honest. And just you know what I mean, but that doesn't cover half of what they did. They like I said earlier, they just completely alienated their children. They had like the most Peter Pan syndrome. They're like the Peter Pan syndrome generation. They really are, still are. So the next time you think and you want to blame capitalism or capitalists on this or like whatever, understand. Yeah, they say, oh well, it's both sides. And who? It's both sides. They're funded by this. It's like what generation are they mostly? Is it anyone in our age group, or someone who's like 2-3 generations older? For me, 1 generation, two generations older. Yeah. Are they 2-3 generations older? Or if you're Gen X, 1 generation older? Negligence, man. They neglected their kids, they neglected their family, and then by proxy, they neglected their country. And now millennials, Zoomers, with no freaking prior knowledge, and a generation that sees them growing and saying, why should you get this? I didn't have this. The fact that you still have a future and they don't, because they still think that they're the future. I don't know. Kind of sounds like a bunch of envious. They grew old. They did not grow up, though. And it forced millennials to, Gen X and millennials to do that. I don't know. Are the boomers to blame for the downfall of society? I'm gonna say yes. Yes, they are, and they still are. Now I understand the president, P47, is a boomer. But do you know what? He doesn't think like these people. He's not turning it into a corporation or trying to do what Reagan did. He's doing. He sees that the economy is completely destroyed. But everybody with half of a brain and all these smooth brains are saying he's one and the same. No, he isn't. If he was, they wouldn't have been trying to get rid of him, if you know what I'm talking about. So the next time you stupid freaking boomers want to say this person is a threat to our democracy, or pull yourself up by your bootstraps, understand how you were to get here, how things were for things to get here. Your negligence. You neglected your household, and by proxy, you neglected your country, and then by proxy, it destroyed Gen X, Gen Y, Zoomers, and Gen Alpha, and soon Gen Beta. 5 generations. But let's hear what life was like when you were 13. What was high school like? Were you the all-star football player? Were you the homecoming king, homecoming queen, the head cheerleader? Love to know. Like, comment, share, and subscribe, everybody. And we will see you next time. So, again, before I go, don't just you subscribe now if you hate the boomers. Give me a like if you like the boomers. Subscribe if you really think that the downfall of society is because of the boomers. I'm going to say yes. See you next time.